Hello, welcome back to the channel everybody. Today we're going to land the F-18 again. I know I just did a landing video on the F-18, but this time we are going to do a landing video of the F-18 using throttle inputs only. We are going to trim the jet out so that I'm basically not going to use the stick. I'm going to land it throttle inputs only. Also in this video what we're going to do is we're going to use the TACAN system, which is a navigation system, to get us a relative bearing to the airfield. Okay, so what is TACAN? TACAN navigation. This is straight out of the manual. The ARN118 TACAN system provides a relative bearing and or slant range distance to a selected TACAN station, land, ship, or aircraft. TACAN range depends on aircraft altitude, line of sight to the station, but can have a maximum range of 200 miles for an airborne station and 390 miles for a surface station. Each TACAN station has a 3-letter identifier, which is used to identify the beacon and is displayed on the HSI and the HUD when using the TACAN steering. There you go. Okay, to activate the TACAN, you do the following. Let me just get us a little closer, you can see a bit better. Okay, go to the left MDI. It can be on either one, but typically it's on the left. Hit the little numbers that are right here. Up will come TAC. Push it again. Supplement page. Over here is your HSI, which is your navigation page. Bring that up. Here you have your navigation. Okay, your airplane in the middle. Okay, so the next thing we'll do is we will set up our TACAN station. So we will go up to the top left here, hit TACAN, and then we got to put in, we'll hit the TCN here, and it's looking for a TACAN number to receive the signal. Okay, so we can clear that out. And you're asking me, well, I don't know the signal, where do I find that out? Well, it's actually not hard. Bring up your map. There's us, right there. Here's the airfield. We can zoom in, just use the mouse wheel. Nice and close, and there it is. BTM channel 16. So we'll get out of the map, back to the cockpit, and we'll enter channel 16. On 6, enter, okay, and then we'll push on, activate the TACAN, and boom. You'll see right here, this little symbol right here, that is the TACAN transmitter right by the airfield. Okay, oh, our plane is drifting. Get it back to center. Okay, so now what we can do is we can set a course to that airfield. Now I've done a little calculations and I'll show you how it's done on the angle of the airfield. So we'll go back to the map of the airfield. Here's the airfield. We'll zoom out a little bit. We'll bring up the ruler. Here's, I believe, that one. Yep. We're going to do a right click on the mouse. We'll just try to go right down that center line of the airfield, and you'll see that it shows 1.27 nautical miles. That's the length of what was got stretched out at 305 degrees. So we know roughly this runway is going at 305 degrees. Okay, get back to the cockpit. So we want to set our course to roughly 305 degrees, and we're drifting again. Okay, so we're going to go down here, this CRS, course line. So if we push one way, we get the arrow to go one way. If we push the other way, it's just a right and left mouse button click. So we're going to have it go this way because we want to go to the airfield. And we're going to get that tail end to be roughly 305 degrees right here. Okay, it's roughly 305 degrees. That is our course to the runway. Okay, and we'll bring that out. So that's where we are right now. And that is how you set up your TACAN to get yourself back to the runway. Okay, so I started my roll in, get lined up with the course heading to the airfield, and begin to reduce my speed and get my altitude down. Probably want to start in around 3,000 feet. I don't know if you can tell, but you probably can. For whatever reason, when I was recording this the first time while flying it, the mic didn't work. So now I'm kind of recording all the audio after the fact. Okay, so getting close to on course, uh, dropping my speed, and any minute now I should be dropping the landing gear. There, landing gear is down. So my next step will be, of course, to lower the flaps full. This will be a full flaps landing. Okay, so once you lower to full flaps, what you're going to find is the plane's going to want to pull up quite quickly until you can get your speed to where you want it. And you're going to be fighting that a little bit. And then your initial reaction, of course, is you're going to lower that speed really fast, and all of a sudden you're going to get too slow, and you're going to start dropping like a rock. And then, this is exactly what the plane is telling me now, hey, I'm going too slow and I'm dropping like a rock. So once you get your speed back up to the 140s, 150s, it starts to become flyable again, you'll find that you're climbing and you don't want to be climbing. And this is the time when it's going to start to trim out the aircraft. You want to trim out the aircraft to hit your glide slope at the speed you want. Okay? And you're saying to Jeff, well, how do we trim out the aircraft? Well, let's look at that. Okay, here you've got the Thrustmaster's replica of the F-18 flight stick. It is a pretty close representation of the F-18, if not exact. And I saw an interview with an F-18 pilot. So the far right hat switch on the very top is the trim switch on the actual F-18. And you say, well, what's the trim switch? The trim switch allows you to drop the nose or lift the nose simply by either pulling back or pushing up on that switch. You can also lower and raise the wings with that switch. Now, that would come in handy if you've got heavier stores left over on one wing compared to the other, and the plane is leaning to one direction or the other. You can trim out the plane so it will fly level without you constantly having to put stick inputs. Same with landing the plane. You can trim the plane to actually put the nose down or up without actually touching the stick. So you can actually have the plane dropping or rising without actually physically putting your hands on the stick. Okay, and here is mine. This is the X56 by SATAC. It's got two hat switches, point of view switch on the top of the stick. As you can see, I have programmed H1, hat 1, to be my trim for the F-18 so that I can do the exact same things that is happening with the real F-18 stick, and I can use my version of the joystick to raise and lower the aircraft. Okay, so right now I'm just getting the aircraft trimmed out properly to where I want it. It did take a few seconds, and I think I probably got off my line of sight of the runway as well. There's a lot going on that when you're trying to trim it out and get it right where you want it. Okay, and once you get your plane right into the glide, you'll see the little yellow circle come up, and you'll know you're right in the glide slope. Okay, so I'm still, I think, hard to tell. I'm looking at this on a really small screen as I'm filming my audio after the fact. So I can't quite tell. I think I'm a little low on the glide as we come in. And what I want you to do now is kind of watch the actual joystick. See if there's any back and forth movement going on that joystick. You notice, yeah, I've got a little bit of right and left because obviously I'm trying to get the plane lined up with the runway. But you'll see there's not very much back and forth going on with the joystick. I've pretty much got my glide slope where it is, and I'm doing everything now with the throttle as I come in for the landing. So as I lower the speed, you'll see the horizon line go down. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to do big movements with your throttle. You just want to take it back a little bit, let the airplane react, see what it's going to do, and then see if you can get it right where you want it, right? Don't overreact. You overreact and you're going to be all over the place with this plane. So just nice, easy inputs with the throttle and it will come down. So as you can see now, I'm bang on the glide. I think I'm bang on the runway. Might be a little off, can't quite tell with my small screen. And coming in, I'm a little high. I'm just lowering my speed now again. Just tiny, tiny, tiny movements to get it onto the runway. Okay, now once I get over the runway, I think I'm going to pretty much just cut her back. Let her come down. All on her own. Boom. Done. Really nice landing. Nice touchdown. Wasn't very hard. And I'm not sure if it's right for an aircraft carrier yet. I'm still not overly skilled at doing aircraft carrier landings. But that's the runway. And again, that was a pretty nice, smooth landing. And again, no stick inputs. I was not going up and down on that stick. All I had to do was get the plane lined up with the runway, and that was a full flap, roughly 140 knot landing in around that range. I couldn't quite tell from what I'm looking at with this very tiny little screen as I'm recording my audio, and a very smooth landing. So again, there you go. That's a throttle landing, full flaps down, trimming the aircraft, totally possible. Thank you very much to the Grim Reapers for having their video on how to do this with an aircraft carrier at night, no less, which was quite spectacular to watch. So again, beginner to DCS. I'm brand new to this. I'm still learning, just like anybody else who's starting with DCS. So if you like what you see, please subscribe. Give me some likes. If you have any comments, please leave the comments. I'd love to hear the comments. And I will see you guys again in my next video. I hope you enjoyed it. See you later.